3 spine-chilling true stories of sinister stalkers, revealed terror from haunted relationships. Jenna thought she led a simple life. A hard-working waitress at a diner in quiet Columbus, Ohio, she juggled her 2 kids, curious 7-year-old Lily and boisterous 5-year-old Noah. Each late-night shift was fueled by the anticipation of their cheerful smiles when she came home. But everything changed when the texts began. Like a cold wave crashing over her, panic seeped into her world. The first message was innocuous enough, a playful taunt that made her scoff. She assumed it was a prank, maybe a jealous coworker trying to stir trouble. But each subsequent message sliced deeper, chilling truths about her daily life cleverly concealed behind a friendly facade. "You forgot your oldest's lunch again today, didn't you?" How did they know? The creeping terror curled around her like a dark shadow. In the beginning, she shrugged it off. But then they mentioned specifics, things she never shared, things only her family could know. The unsettling knowledge that someone was watching her gnawed at her insides. Late at night, alone with her kids asleep in the next room, every creak of the floorboard sent shivers down her spine. The safe lilt of her suburban life twisted into uncertainty. On a ferocious stormy night, the wind howling outside like a beast starved for attention, fear tightened around her throat. Lily tugged at her sleeve, wide eyes glancing at the window. Noah giggled, completely unaware of the dread that crept beneath Jenna's skin. "It's just the wind." She turned her gaze to the porch light, heart pounding. And then, just beyond the circle of golden illumination, she saw a shadowy figure lurking at the edge. With a pulse racing like thunder, Jenna rushed to the window, only to see the figure vanish into the darkness. Her breaths came in tight gulps, realization dawning heavy. This was personal. Desperate for help, Jenna reached out to the police, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders. But when she presented her case, a scowl met her plea. "You must be imagining things." The officer shrugged, dismissing her as just another stressed single mom. Anger twisted inside her. Instead of help, she felt betrayed, paranoia sinking deeper into her bones, days turned into nights, deadlines stacked like ominous shadows, the texts relentless. With each chilling word, Jenna was convinced the stalker was someone she knew, a reflection of twisted trust. Conversations at the diner turned hollow, neighbors wore smiles that felt sharp-edged. What poison festered beneath their friendly facades? And then came the peak, a trembling night where dread reached a crescendo, and Jenna confronted the lurking figure she believed had tormented her for weeks. The revelation shattered her heart. This was no stranger, this was someone her children called uncle. Fear slammed against her chest. This was worse than just betrayal. How could she protect her kids from someone who had kissed their cheeks goodnight one too many times? As that twisted betrayal churned her insides, Jenna's world spiraled. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just when Jenna thought she was ready to confront him, fear wrapped around her throat once more. The terrible whisper from the shadows echoed louder than the wind outside. "You should have never ignored me." The reality sank in a monster wrapped in warm smiles and familiar laughter, lurking too close for her comfort. With her heart pounding and every instinct screaming to run, she realized the true battle was just beginning. Jenna's mind raced as she stood at the edge of a precipice, grappling with the darkness that had invaded her life. Her heart thudded in her chest, a drumbeat of dread pushing her into a frantic spiral. How could she have been so blind? The warmth of friendship had masked the icy intent lurking beneath the surface. The shadows flickered around her, creating phantoms that whispered her fears back to her. "You should have never ignored me." She scanned her home, every corner now haunted by the specter of a betrayal she once trusted. The dining table, where they shared meals, became a chilling reminder of every laugh, every shared secret now tainted. The very home she built for safety felt like a cage, each creak sending a tremor through her body. She had 2 kids to protect, and yet she felt utterly helpless, anger and fear churning within her like a storm. "Mom?" Lily's soft voice broke through her chaotic thoughts, light and innocent. Jenna turned to her daughter, trying to mask the terror gripping her. "Sweetheart, it's okay. Just go back to bed." The words fell from her lips like lead. She wasn't okay, and neither was the world around them. But her little girl's trust in her shattered her heart. What if she failed to keep them safe? "Is Uncle Matt here?" Lily asked, her innocent eyes sparkling with expectation. The mention of his name sent nausea curling in Jenna's stomach. "No, honey. Uncle Matt is busy." She said it, but doubt clawed at her. Why was he busy? Was he outside lingered, waiting, watching, as darkness clung to the windows and the wind rattled the panes? Jenna's resolve hardened. She needed to confront him. She needed answers. She had to protect her children. And yet, deep down, a whisper of indecision tugged at her. Was this the man they adored? Or the monster hiding in plain sight? She picked up her phone, the screen lighting up against the night like a beacon of hope and despair. She was supposed to feel safe with it, yet it had only added to her torment. Should I call? But who could she trust? The police had dismissed her fears, and she couldn't bear the thought of another encounter with them. The minutes crawled by, heavy like lead weights. The storm outside raged, morphing the familiar surroundings into something menacing. Somewhere in the shadows, she felt a presence, a suffocating awareness that she wasn't alone. A chill traced her spine. Goosebumps erupted over her skin, and she glanced at the door, waiting for something that felt inevitable to occur. Then, abruptly, her phone buzzed with a chilling notification. A new text from an unknown number. She steadied her hands, bracing herself. "Don't worry, Jenna. I'll take care of your little ones while you sleep." Sick horror washed over her. It didn't just say children, it said little ones. The words twisted her insides. Who was this? Matt's betrayal and the toxic familiarity brewed a brew of panic. Jenna's breath hitched, she turned, ready to bolt to her children's room. Suddenly, the door creaked open slowly, the shadows spilling into the light. An outline stepped inside, and she froze. It was him. Matt. Each heartbeat echoed in her ears, the fear a suffocating blanket. He stood there, a deceptive smile plastered across his face, eyes glinting with something dark. "Did you miss me?" Jenna's pulse thundered. She felt trapped, like prey caught in a predator's gaze. What was his next move? These interrogative thoughts clawed at her sanity. Could she escape this nightmare? In that chilling moment, clarity sharpened like a knife. She had to act. But what could she do against someone who knew her every move? As dread lingered in the air, the real showdown loomed near, a battle wrapped in shadows, betrayal, and blood. And as his smile widened ominously, Jenna knew the time for confrontation had arrived. Would she fall victim to the very evil who dressed up as family? The night held its breath, waiting. Jenna barely breathed as Matt advanced into the room. The darkness shifted around him, narrowing the space like a vice. The tightening of her chest felt like a vice grip, squeezing the air from her lungs. "What do you want?" She managed, her voice barely above a whisper. He chuckled softly, a sound that sent needle-like chills across her arms. "You know what I want, Jenna. We've been through so much together." His words wrapped around her mind like chains. Memories of cheerful gatherings, warm hugs, and laughter twisted into something grotesque in her recollection. "This is sick," she said, shaking her head. "You're not welcome here." Matt's smile faltered but returned, more sinister. "But I thought we were family. Friends look out for one another. I just want to help you." Help me? How could he twist his role into something pure? Panic surged through her, leaving her shaky. You're not helping. You're a danger to us. His eyes darkened, clouded by an unwavering intensity. You don't understand. I'm the only one you can trust. He stepped closer, invading the space she desperately tried to ward off. A shiver ran down her spine, grounding her resolve. Stay back. Come on, Jenna. Don't act like I'm the villain here, he said, gesturing toward the shadows. You should be more afraid of what lurks outside. But I can protect myself from you. Can you? He took another step, and her instinct screamed at her to flee. Her eyes darted to the kitchen where the carving knife lay, but could she really use it? Could she justify that desperation? Matt, you need to leave. Her voice trembled, a thin thread of defiance woven through fear. Why would I? He seemed amused, eyes glinting with a twisted mirth. This is where we fix everything. The shadows grew thicker. Each heartbeat echoed in the tight space, a countdown to an unknown horror. Jenna's thoughts raced as she vividly imagined the heaviness of silence punctuated by their argument, a dark ballet of words turned into a dance of terror. Mom? Lily's voice called from down the hall. It was sweet, innocent. Jenna felt her heart tear at the sound, dread pooling in her stomach. Get away from my children. Jenna shouted, feeling an adrenaline surge. Matt hesitated, lips curling into a mocking smile. Oh, but how is that going to work out? I'm just trying to protect them, like I do with you. Stop. You're lying. Laughter bubbled from him, a cold, hollow sound that twisted her stomach. With every second, he shifted closer, and she could practically feel the weight of his twisted affection. Do you really think I'd let anything happen to them? After all, even monsters need a family, he taunted, his voice slithering through the air. It ignited something fierce within her. She couldn't let him weave his way into her children's lives. She took a step back, instinctively moving toward the kitchen, already planning her next move. You don't have any power over us. Oh, but see? You're not thinking clearly, Jenna. How can you fight something so close to your heart? That's where I have the advantage. Just then, her phone buzzed again, the shrill sound ripping through the tension. She glanced at the screen, but Matt slammed a hand on the table, startling her. Don't look. They're not safe. Not until I'm done. Her heart raced, pounding against her ribcage like a drum, drowning out his voice. She needed to act before he took even one more step toward her. She needed to fight back. Before she inhaled again, she lunged toward the kitchen, the knife glinting under the dim light. Her breath came in ragged gasps, she felt alive, adrenaline coursing through her veins. Stay away from me. She screamed, turning to face him, but Matt just laughed, an unsettling sound that sent tremors through her core. You think you can do this? You think you can fight me? His smile faded, replaced by something sharper, darker. In that moment, she realized the boundaries of their relationship had dissolved, replaced by a monster that wore a familiar face. Let us see how this ends, Jenna, he growled, his intention crystal clear while she stood at the edge of despair, ready to plunge headfirst into the darkness, and as she tightened her grip on the knife, Jenna braced herself for the showdown that was inevitable. What would she do if she fought and lost? The night seemed to close in around her, as she prepared for the ultimate battle. Would she rise to protect her children, or would she become just another victim of betrayal? The answer hung in the air like a noose, waiting to snap. Jenna's muscles tensed as the knife felt foreign in her grip, heavy and trembling. With each frantic breath, fear radiated through her like a live wire. She locked eyes with Matt, the darkness wrapping around him, making the room feel impossibly small. Leave, she warned, her voice shaky yet loud, a thin veil of defiance. You don't belong here. Do you really believe that? He mocked, stepping closer, inch by inch. The shadows around him shifted like living things, each movement swallowing the light. What if I told you that you need me more than you think? The air thickened, and each heartbeat echoed like a ticking clock. The walls felt like they were closing in, suffocating her. A part of Jenna urged her to flee, but the other, more primal part screamed for her to stand firm. Why are you doing this? Her voice was a choked whisper, the edge of desperation slipping in. What is it that you really want from me? Everything, he purred, his grin now a chilling rictus. I want everything to be like it was. You and me, together, as it should be. I'm your protector, remember? No, she shot back, clutching the knife tighter. Protection doesn't come with threats. The mirth in his eyes flickered, suddenly stony. You're naive if you think it's that simple. I'm the only one standing between you and the true horrors. True horrors? Panic clawed at her voice. What are you talking about? You think it's just me in here? You haven't peeked outside, have you? A flicker of dread crossed her mind. She stepped back, remembering the shadows brushing against the windows. Outside, the world was alive with unseen things. Chills shot up her spine as she thought of what might be waiting for her children. Was there something worse than him? The sound of soft footsteps in the hall sent adrenaline surging back into her veins. Mom? Lily's sweet voice broke through the suffocating fear, a beacon in the dark. Stay back. Jenna shouted, her heart racing. Get away. Go to your room. No, Mommy. Lily protested, her small feet pattering closer. What's wrong? Matt's eyes lit up at the sound of her daughter, delight mingling with the menace that surrounded him. What a lovely voice, he cooed, turning slightly. Wouldn't she make a perfect addition to our family? Jenna's gut turned at the thought, the knife almost slipping from her grasp. You don't get to talk about my children. The knife felt alive in her hand, a lifeline and a weapon in this twisted game. Lily's figure appeared at the end of the hall, bathed in a feeble streak of light. The innocence in her face smeared with confusion. Mom, what's happening? Stay there. Jenna shouted, a surge of panic erupting urgently. Matt chuckled, tracing a slow finger along the edge of the table. You see, Jenna? This is all so unnecessary. If you just listen to me, Lily, listen to me. Close your eyes. Don't look. The room erupted into chaos. Matt lunged forward, and in that instant, the knife felt less like a mere object and more like her only salvation. Jenna swung it wildly, her heart thundering with every motion. Matt dodged, a twisted grin plastered on his face. You think you can just fight me? I don't want to hurt you. You already are. The moment stretched thin, each second dripping with tension. Jenna's breath caught in her throat, but determination flared inside her. With Lily still standing there, confusion lacing her features, she couldn't pull back. Then the lights flickered, casting monstrous shadows against the walls. For the briefest moment, everything frozen in that strobing light felt surreal. And as quickly as it came, the lights died, plunging them into darkness. Too easy, he whispered, his words slithering through the suffocating darkness. Her pulse raced, and terror crashed over her like a tidal wave. She couldn't let him take her children, couldn't let that become their reality. With the knife still clutched tightly, she willed the darkness to yield, her body thrumming with an unyielding energy. Mommy! Lily cried out, adding a desperation that twisted Jenna's gut. One last flicker of courage surged within her. Get away from us. In the pitch blackness, Jenna focused all her thoughts on what lay ahead, a path twisted by fear but leading to a fight for survival. Would she have the strength to shield her daughter from the monster in the room and the dangers waiting beyond the door? And just as Jenna felt she was about to let go of all hope, a crashing sound erupted from outside, sending a shock of terror spiraling through her. What had she awakened? The darkness cascaded around them, a thick fog of dread. Jenna pressed her back against the cold wall, the knife feeling heavier by the second. Her breaths were sharp and shallow, the only sound breaking the silence. Then came the sound again, a loud crash outside, followed by frantic rustling. What was out there? "Mommy!" Lily cried, her voice tremulous with fear, cutting through Jenna's mounting anxiety. "Stay close, sweetheart," Jenna whispered, the words barely escaping her throat. She edged towards the sound, her instincts kicking in as she moved, knife at the ready. Matt's laughter echoed through the blackness, a cacophony of menace. "You think you can keep her safe?" His voice danced around her, taunting, each syllable dripping with malice. "You know you're not strong enough." Her heart pounded. Strength was found in numbers, she reminded herself. "This isn't just about you, Matt. It's about her." He chuckled softly, and the sound was full of perverse glee. "You're missing the point. She is mine whether you like it or not. That's how it always was." Desperation clawed at Jenna. What did he mean? The shadows around her seemed to pulse, alive with his intent. "Get away from us!" she shouted, barely believing the words as they left her mouth. The air turned icy, fear slithering up her spine like an unwelcome serpent. She could hear the distant sounds of a struggle outside. What if someone was trying to get in? Or worse, what if it was whatever lurked beyond the walls? "Do you hear that?" Matt hissed, his voice low and mocking. "They're coming for you, Jenna. They know you're weak. They can smell your fear." Her grip tightened around the knife, knuckles white against the dark metal. "I want to let them take us," she breathed, though doubt gnawed at her resolve. Silence fell heavy again, thick with anticipation. And then the lights flickered back to life, illuminating the scene as if awakening a grotesque statue of liberty. Matt stood mere feet away, his face a twisted mask saturated in shadows. A gash of light outlined his body, making him look even more inhuman. He was undeterred, eyes glowing eerily. "Mom!" Lily shrieked as panic ignited in the little girl's voice. "No!" Jenna cried, lunging toward her daughter. The knife was a blur in her hand as she darted forward, but Matt was faster. He seized Lily, lifting her off the ground as if she weighed nothing. "You'll regret this, Jenna," he hissed, a malevolent smile stretching across his lips. "You could have had the chance to join me. To be a part of something grand." Jenna's heart sank, fear flooding her veins. "Put her down. Only if you promise to join us," he whispered, his breath rancid, tainting the air between them. The walls seemed to close in, darkness beckoning at the corners. Outside, more crashing sounds echoed what was happening out there. Jenna couldn't let her child be a pawn in Matt's game. The danger lurked in both shadows. She had to act, but how? "Lily, close your eyes," Jenna shouted, stalling for time. Clenching her teeth, she readied the knife, steeling herself for the choice ahead. "Don't worry, sweetling," Matt crooned, his voice sickeningly sweet. "We'll be together when all this is over." Jenna's heart raced with fear and fury. She stepped closer, her resolve hardening. The shadows were alive, pulsing with each thump of her heart as her mind raced. She had to choose right now or lose everything. With one swift motion she roared, "You will not take her." As she lunged, the world outside erupted in noise, a violent force crashing against the walls, shaking the very foundation of her sanity. What was coming? The door shattered under the pressure, splinters flying like dangerous projectiles. Jenna's stomach dropped. What had she unleashed? And in that moment, everything changed. The darkness wasn't the only thing lurking. Who or what had she truly awakened? The door exploded inward, slamming against the wall with a thunderous crack. Dust rushed into the air like a startled breath escaping from the space between the living and the dead. Jenna stumbled back, her body tensing, ready to react. Matt grinned, his expression wild, unhinged, as the force behind the door advanced into the room. Shadows bled in, distorting into forms that danced grotesquely against the flickering lights. Jenna's heart raced as she tried to discern what was happening. Then came the sounds, terrible, guttural growls, echoing like wild beasts unleashed from a nightmare's depths. A creature born from the darkness shambled through, eyes like burning coals, reflecting every ounce of terror that filled Jenna's spirit. It lumbered toward Lily, still in Matt's grasp, who screamed, a shattered note of pure horror. "Mommy!" Lily's little voice pierced through the chaos, raw with fear. "No!" Jenna shouted, desperation tightening her throat. She lunged forward, the knife glinting in her trembling hand. "Join us, Jenna." Matt's voice twisted through the air, a menacing lure that tugged at her mind. "It's too late for you. Embrace what we are." But she couldn't listen. The creature, a terrifying blend of human and shadow, drew closer, its breath reeking of decay. It eyed Lily as if she were prey. "Get her away from that thing!" Jenna cried, fear fueling her legs toward them, knife raised defiantly. Matt's grip tightened around Lily as he backed toward the darkness spilling from the door. "If you want your daughter, you'll have to face the dark with me." Jenna's mind twisted in knots. The shadow looming was everything she feared, and yet, here was Matt, her old love, the man whose voice could command her heart, now turned into a monster. "You can't do this," she yelled, but the darkness twisted the intent of her words, weaving doubt into her heart. The creature lunged forward, snapping its jaws. Jenna thrust the knife forward instinctively, and with a sharp slice, it caught the edge of its flesh. It howled, a sound that reverberated within her very bones. Was this what Matt wanted? To unleash chaos, Matt cackled, the manic laughter echoing through the air, a cruel symphony that drowned out her sanity. "Look what you've created. You wanted strength, didn't you? Now you have it." "Matt, stop!" Jenna cried. There was a flicker of recognition behind his eyes, a brief moment where the Matt she once knew returned, but it flashed away just as quickly. The creature shrieked in agony and fell back, but the door continued to tremble violently, more shadows flooding inside, an endless tide of darkness eager to consume. "What do you want from me?" Jenna screamed above the chaos. "Only to show you the power that lies within," Matt rasped, his voice dripping with perverse satisfaction. "To offer you a choice. Let her go." Jenna's words felt like a dam breaking against the waves of terror. She surged forward, slicing the knife through the air, aiming for anything that would free her daughter. But as the knife connected with the next shadow, it jerked violently, the power from the strike resonating through the room. And then she felt it, a connection, mingling with the growing darkness around her. It ignited the shadows, sending a shockwave of malevolence that momentarily faltered the creature. In that instant, Jenna's world tilted off the edge, the blurred line between them both solidifying. The terror that flooded the room began to swell, and all at once, a deeper darkness awoke. The power it had harbored began to seep through, engulfing the very essence of what she thought she could control. "Lily!" she shouted as realization crashed down. The shadows stirred with life, a collective hunger for her daughter, and Jenna's heart sank. The choice wasn't just about saving Lily anymore. It was about what she would become if she fought to save them both. In the eye of chaos, Jenna felt the weight of her decision pressing down, tugging her toward the darkness. Was there still hope hidden there, or would they all be consumed? Facing both Matt and the creature, she readied herself for the true horror of what lay ahead. Could she wield the very shadows he commanded? And if so, at what cost? The air crackled thick with darkness, the time for decision slipping through her fingers like sand. The shadows pulsed alive around them with a deafening dread that left only one question lingering in the suffocating air: what if the true monster was herself? Jenna's breath came in ragged gasps. The knife trembled in her hand, the blade reflecting fragments of the flickering light, each glimmer a mocking promise of safety that felt increasingly unattainable. She could feel the weight of the shadows pressing against her, an almost tangible force pulling her deeper into a darkness alive with dread. "Mommy!" Lily's scared voice broke through her swirling thoughts, the sound igniting a surge of desperation in her core. The belief that somehow she could still save her daughter pierced through the despair. Without thinking, Jenna stepped closer to the horror before her. The creature reeled from her earlier strike, a wretched howl escaping its maw, but it quickly regained its footing, the shadows around it strengthening. She made a split-second decision, one chance to destabilize its grip on Lily. "Stand back!" Jenna roared, her voice rising above the chaos, a primal instinct rising. She charged forward, knife outstretched. "Don't give in." Matt's voice boomed, but it was shadowed by the guttural growls. His words dripped with honeyed poison. The flicker of humanity that had briefly glimmered within him retreated. In its place was only a twisted version of the man she once loved. The creature lunged again, fangs bared. It was a tempest of darkness, each movement causing the air to thrum. But Jenna didn't flinch. With fierce resolve, she plunged the knife toward the creature's snout, aiming for those hellish eyes. It collided with the creature's flesh, sending a ripple of energy through the air. The knife bit deep, and the grotesque beast let out a blood-curdling screech. But with every ounce of pain she inflicted, the shadows screamed back to life, swirling around her like angry wolves. "Embrace it." Matt's voice twisted, the space between them crackling with unnatural power. "You're stronger than you know. That power, it's part of you." "No!" Jenna screamed, feeling shards of fear cut through her heart as she forced herself to block him out. She couldn't fall into his trap. She had to save Lily. But the shadows pulsed around her, whispering malevolently, each echo fueled by her doubt. It was intoxicating, the thrill of the abyss flirting with her sanity, promising her things she couldn't comprehend. Delusions of strength swirled at the edge of her mind, perhaps they could win if she accepted the dark. "Lily!" she called, her voice frantic, gut-wrenching, as her daughter's cries grew more desperate. The creature lurched again, but Jenna felt it. A dark tendril lashing out toward her, grasping her ankle, sending shivers racing up her spine. With the primal instinct to protect, she grasped the knife tighter and twisted it around, severing the shadow that bound her. Released, she felt power surge through her, a potency pulled from the depths of the darkness. The shadows recoiled, shrieking at her newfound defiance, and in that moment, a choice unfolded before her: continue fighting, or succumb to the dark's wicked embrace. "Mommy!" Lily screamed again, her voice laced with terror. Jenna locked eyes with her daughter, drowning in the clarity of that connection. She could hear the unspoken plea in that tiny voice, drowning out the chaos. This was not about power, this was about love and the terrifying lengths she was willing to go to protect it. The ground trembled as shadows writhed, churning with frustrated rage. Jenna knew she had to act fast. But as she prepared to charge once more, the shadows thickened and enveloped her, pulling her toward the void. Her heart raced. Was she strong enough to fight back? Or would she be consumed by the very darkness that beckoned her? With one final push against the overwhelming tide, Jenna screamed, "Get away from my daughter!" As she lunged forward into the storm swirling around them, the knife poised to either save or doom them all. The collision of faith and fear burst forth in her, and as the shadows recoiled, the darkness split, revealing a path she had never expected to see. But at what cost would she have to take it? And then, in the flickering light, the creature howled. What dark truth would she uncover if she continued down that path? The darkness parted, but it was no blessing. Instead, a twisted visage emerged, a reflection of both her and the creature, indistinguishable in its grotesquerie. Jenna staggered back, the knife's grip stiffening painfully in her palm. She felt the wrongness burrowing into her mind, blurring the line between her essence and the horror looming before her. "Mother," the creature whispered, its voice an echo of Lily's sweet tones, warped and vile. It was both her daughter and something else, something that wanted to pull her into its abyss. "No!" Jenna shouted, shaking her head violently as if to dispel the horrifying specter. Lily's frightened cries cut through the oncoming storm again, reinforcing her intent, her love sharpening her resolve like a flint against steel. "Stay away from her!" she roared, the knife thrust before her. The monstrous entity faltered, its form wavering as if Jenna's will alone might shatter it. The shadows shrieked with desperate fury, writhing around her ankles, clinging, trying to pull her back into the dark. In an instant, Jenna charged forward. The creature lunged, fangs snapping. Each step felt like running through molasses, shadows grabbing at her heels, pulling her down. The air grew thick, each breath more labored, suffocating. But she couldn't back down. "Mommy!" Lily's voice sang a haunting melody of terror. In a feral scream that shattered the silence, Jenna slashed through the darkness, aiming for the creature's throat. The knife sliced air, connecting with the beast's sinew and bone. A guttural roar erupted, echoing off the walls of their once safe space. The floor shook, and cracks splintered underfoot, releasing wisps of fog that twisted like frantic spirits between them, but the monster was relentless. It lunged again, now smarting from Jenna's strike but enraged. Tendrils of shadow slashed out, wrapping around her wrists, pulling her down. She could feel the strength draining, the dark euphoria sucking hope away like a leech. A flicker of doubt crept in. What if this battle wasn't just with the creature? What if she was battling herself? The judgment, the failure she fought to push them back. Fought to remember Lily's face. "Mommy!" Lily's whimper broke through. A desperate plea that slammed into her heart like a fist. "No!" Jenna shouted, summoning every ounce of strength left in her weak limbs. "I won't lose you." With a raw breath, she twisted free, wrenching the knife back, spinning to face the creature once more. Desperation boiled amidst her fear, fueling every word. "You can't have her. She's mine." The creature sneered, revealing rows of glistening teeth like jagged gravestones. "You think you can protect her? You don't even know what you are." "Shut up!" Jenna howled, charging once more, stab after stab, determined fury thrumming in her veins. Each strike felt like a heartbeat, raw, alive, dangerous. For every wound, the creature's form flickered, wavering between reality and shadow, and Jenna felt the shadows loosen, retreat as if her defiance burned them away. But just as a glimmer of hope surged, a deafening crack filled the room. The shadows coiled around her leg, an unyielding wrap of despair. She stumbled, the edge of darkness beckoning, the ground rumbling beneath her. "Mommy! Help!" Lily's voice trembled, echoing with a timeless fear. Jenna's heart sank into the pit of her stomach. She could feel the creature surging with newfound strength. The terrifying orchestration of violence threatened to swallow her whole. What would it take to break the creature's grip? What truths remained hidden behind its monstrous facade? As Jenna prepared for another assault, the ground beneath her split wider, engulfing her feet in darkness. How much longer could she fight before the shadows consumed everything she loved? Jenna felt the world funneling down to darkness. The shadows tightened their grip, pulling her down deeper into the earth, into their cold embrace. Panic surged in her chest. With every frantically held breath, her heart raced, the thump echoing like a war drum. She could almost hear Lily's cries fading, swallowed by the encroaching blackness. "Fight, Jenna! Fight!" She screamed at herself, forcing her limbs to respond. The knife felt heavier, slick with sweat and desperation as she pulled it free from her grasp. But just as she thought she would break free, the creature lunged again. Its eyes glimmered like shards of glass in the dark. "You can't escape this. This is who you are." It taunted, malicious glee dripping from every word. "No!" Jenna spat, narrowing her focus on the beast's grotesque face. It was a twisted reflection of her own fears and failures. She summoned her rage, the love for her daughter kindling a fire within her. Would she allow this monster to steal her light? To mar Lily's innocent soul? With a sudden jolt, she broke free of the shadow's grasp, lunging forward with every ounce of her being. She slashed at the creature once more, her heart pounding in rhythm with the knife's blade slicing through the air. The creature screeched, a wailing sound that bounced through the void, churning the shadows into a frenzy. "Mommy, please." Lily's voice rang out, desperate yet distant, like a haunting melody echoing from somewhere far beyond the darkness. Jenna's resolve hardened. In that moment, something shifted. A gust of wind swept through the room, scattering the shadows for a precious heartbeat. Jenna caught a glimpse of Lily, flailing amid the swirling darkness, her little arms reaching. The sight ignited a fierce willpower within Jenna, a drive she thought long lost. "Stay with me, Lily." Tendrils of fear wrapped around Jenna's throat like a noose, but she screamed past it, channeling her pain and love into one anguished thrust of the knife. The blade found purchase again, diving deep into the creature's side. It howled, a cacophony of rage mixed with agony, and Jenna felt the world shift as the creature lurched. But instead of crumbling, the beast swelled, darkness pooling like a malignant tide within the room. Jenna stumbled back as it morphed, twisting, expanding. The walls shuddered, and the ground trembled under a violent tremor. The air thickened, and Jenna's breath came in short, frantic gasps. "Lily!" she yelled, her voice nearly drowning in the mounting chaos. She pressed forward, desperate to reach her daughter, but the shadows surged back, encircling her, slick and oppressive. "No, no, no!" Jenna dragged against the weight, fear throbbing like a second heartbeat. The whispers grew louder, filling her mind with doubts, wounds from the past threatening to suffocate her resolve. She felt fragments of memories clawing their way to the surface, failures, fears, the weight of motherhood pressing down on her like an anvil. In a flash, Jenna realized the truth: the creature was a dark manifestation of her despair, the embodiment of everything she feared she could not conquer. But it was also tethered to her love for Lily. Suddenly, she understood. The way to destroy this darkness was within her grasp, a fierce love wrapped in unbreakable faith. With newfound clarity, she charged the monster one more time. "Lily! I'm coming!" she cried, thrusting the knife deep once more, pouring every ounce of love into that one fateful strike. The ground shook violently as the creature writhed. For a moment, Jenna felt the shadows lose their grip, pulling back as if in retreat. But the creature's roar turned to a sinister laughter, echoing around her. "You can't save her, Jenna. This world is mine." With her heart pounding, Jenna prepared to plunge forward again, summoning all of her strength. But just then, the very fabric of reality twisted in on itself. A blinding light erupted, one that seemed impossibly far away yet beckoning her fiercely. And then, just like that, the ground gave beneath her. As her world tilted into chaos, fear clutched at her chest. Would she and Lily be lost to the shadows forever? What awaited them in the light? Or was it another torment disguised as hope? Jenna fell, and everything went black. Jenna floated in darkness, weightless, suspended in a void where time lost meaning. Thoughts swirled chaotically, memories of laughter with her children, late-night whispers before bedtime, the sinister presence of Matt, and the echoing cries of her daughter. The nothingness pressed against her, suffocating and unbearable. "Lily!" Panic surged through her. It was a ball of fear, raw and searing, piercing through the shadowy walls that had cloaked her in despair. She fought against the void, focusing on that one name, that beacon of hope. Lily. Suddenly, the darkness shattered, bursting apart like fragile glass, spilling forth a brilliant light. The blinding radiance pulled Jenna forward, fueling a desperate need to return to her daughter. Then sense began to emerge. The sounds of the chaotic struggle became clearer: violent growls, her daughter's pleas, and the twisted laughter of Matt echoed around her. When she landed on the ground, she felt warmth beneath her, grounding her. It was her living room, the air heavy with the scent of fear and primal dread. Jenna blinked against the light, trying to steady her heart, but looming shadows twisted menacingly at the edges of her vision. "This ends now," she whispered, her voice trembling, but the fire in her chest burned hotter. Matt stood before her, eyes glinting with manic rage. Beside him, a monstrous beast thrashed, shadows wrapping around it like a cloak. "So, you've come back," he hissed, a sinister smile stretching across his face. "But do you truly think you can take her away from me? Get away from my daughter!" Jenna shouted, fists clenched tightly around the knife. She felt the strength surging through her, fueled by love and desperation, a resolve born from the deep bond she shared with Lily. With a swift motion, she lunged. The knife cut through the air, shining like a beacon of hope, aimed straight at the heart of the shadowy creature. It roared in outrage, its claws snapping like thunder as she plunged the blade deep into its side. Light erupted from the wound, bright and fierce, flooding the room with purity. Matt's eyes widened in horror. "No! You don't understand. You're sacrificing everything. I'm fighting for everything." Jenna howled, and with each thrust of the knife, with every ounce of strength she summoned, the creature staggered. The shadows recoiled, howling in agony and confusion as if they could feel the power of Jenna's love pushing them back. "Lily! Run to me!" she cried, her voice breaking through the shadows. Lily appeared from behind the flowing darkness, eyes wide and brimming with tears, her small hands reaching for Jenna. "Mommy!" The moment rang clear, cutting through the din. The connection between them sparked something fierce, a tether unbreakable by darkness. Jenna felt a wave of warmth wash over her, the shadows swirling with rage, but they couldn't reach her now, not with her daughter's love igniting the fire within her. As she fought, the line between mother and monster blurred, revealing a path of light hewn from faith. Her voice steady now, Jenna spoke words woven into a promise. "We will not be afraid. We will not be alone." The radiance around her grew, washing the room in a golden hue, illuminating the dark corners that had once held them captive. In a final surge of power, Jenna twisted the knife, feeling the essence of the creature begin to dissolve, shadows shrieking as they unraveled. Screaming, it collapsed under the weight of its own evils, dissipating into the ether. It was as if Jenna had shattered the shackles that bound her to fear. As light filled the space, the oppressive weight lifted, and quiet settled in like a warm embrace. The jagged edges of reality softened, and Jenna turned to her daughter, who stood shivering but unfaltering, a small, radiant warrior against the darkness. "Mom!" Lily ran into her arms, and Jenna caught her, suffused with grace, cradling her tightly, breathing in the comforting warmth of her daughter. The world around them felt new, fresh, filled with possibility. "It's over," Jenna whispered, the words laced with triumph. They had faced the darkness and emerged not unscathed, but stronger, unified. They could walk forward, together. As they stepped outside into the fresh night air, Jenna felt the moonlight wash over them, illuminating the path ahead. They had vanquished a great shadow, and now it was time to look toward the future, to build a life full of laughter, love, and safety. "Promise me, we'll be safe," Lily murmured, clutching Jenna's hand like it was the strongest might in the world. "Always," Jenna promised, her heart full, every heartbeat a declaration of love, and with that promise, they stepped forward hand in hand, leaving the horrors behind and walking into a brighter tomorrow, where every shadow could be dispelled by the light of their bond. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Show your support because true fans know that every click matters.